Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Vijayadashami blessings to all of you. As the name suggests, Vijayadashami, after the 9 days of Navaratri, the 10th day, Vijayadashami, is supposed to be very auspicious day, particularly for starting new learning, new lessons, and that is why today, on this auspicious Vijayadashami day, we are starting to learn Mahanyasam. Nyasam is a very integral part of worship. So I will explain in English, and then if you want, I can explain in either language. Just that what Nyasam is. It is the literal meaning is to place or keep. In where do we place? We place in our different parts of our body. So what do we place? We place different, the devatas, God, different gods, and finally every nyasa will be focused on one particular deity. And when we are doing 9 days of Devi Mahatmyam, we all started with the Durga Matrika Nyasam, which you are all, many of you are aware of the Durga Matrika Nyasam, where the different names, different forms of Durga Parameshwari is placed in our own body. According to the Veda Pramanam, any worship we can only do if you become that, say if there is an object of worship, you are worshipping Mahatripura Sundari and you are the worshipper. So I am the worshipper and I have the object of worship is, say, Mahatripura Sundari. I am worshipping Mahatripura Sundari. The purpose of Nyasa is you have the duality or the difference between myself, which is I, and then the Mahatripura Sundari, another deity which I am praying for. The purpose is to make that Mahatripura Sundari come within myself, come to me, so that I place in that body, and then I become that. If I am going to do prayer to Paramashiva, Samba Parameshwara, then I become that Samba Parameshwara. How do you become Samba Parameshwara? Is energizing your own body with the mantras of Samba Parameshwara within you, that you are totally energized and you have that Devaswa Swarupa. So from your Atma, you are making your own Atma purified so that you are able to offer worship. That is why Nyasa is an integral part of any prayer. So that you have to understand. That is a Nyasa. Because the main worship here is Samba Parameshwara. So what is Samba Parameshwara? Parameshwara is Shiva. And why do we say Samba Parameshwara? Ambayaha Saha, the one Shiva who is always with Shakti. Sa. So Ambayaha Saha means he is always with. So you cannot distinguish or separate. That is why even Kalida says Vagartha Viva Samprittau Vagartha Pratipate Jagata Pitarau Vande Parvati Parameshwaro, because Parvati and Parameshwara, they become one unit. So he uses the word Pitarau is Matacha Pitacha Pitarau. So using one word here is to represent oneness of that Shiva and Shakti. So here we will be using many times the word Samba Parameshwara. So when we do Avaganam later, we will be saying Samba Parameshwara. You have to say Samba means Ambayaha Saha. So there is also in many Jyotirlinga, one Jyotirlinga is Somanatha. Again, Somanatha is again very important word. So the one Shiva, Sa Uma is Soma. The one who is with Uma, that person is Soma. So the Shiva with Uma means Soma. So when you say Soma, you are saying Shiva and Shakti together in one word, Soma. So you have to get that concept. So here in this Nyasa is called Mahanyasa, probably because it is very big, probably because it is very important. So it is called Mahanyasa, and many use the word colloquially as Mahanyasa, but it is Mahanyasa. That is the word which is given for. But even if somebody says Mahanyasa, you have to understand that it means Mahanyasa. So the first one, if you see our book, we will, for this class, for this Mahanyasa class, many of you, we have recently, I think I have announced many times, we have recently published books for this Rudra Puja, which includes this Mahanyasa, but it is a very comprehensive guide for Shiva Puja. We have published in English, Tamil, and Sanskrit, and also currently it's in the process of publishing in English and Kannada. Later we will see other languages. Most important is, even without having a book, you can easily learn. So if you don't have a book, you can still learn, because this is a Shruti, and any Shruti is learned by your hearing. Your ears are the main source of knowledge, not your eyes. So when you are learning, it is better that you use your eyes to see the Guru, to see how the sound is coming and how you have to do all the intonations, the swaras, exactly by looking at the Guru, but hearing the mantra. So later on, for practice, later on you can use the books. What we will do is, we will be, I know many of you have requested for books, so we are still not finalized how to do this logistics of delivering the books. But here for today, if you are all having, take the so that it will be easy for practice purpose. Then we will also start a WhatsApp community. So we'll start a WhatsApp community for learning Rudram and this Mahanyasam. So when you join that community, before the class, that particular days, what we are going to teach, we will post in that community, so that even if you don't have the book, from that you will know what is going to be taught, and it will be in the WhatsApp community. So we will create the WhatsApp community, and you all will post that as a link in the YouTube channel, so that you can all, those who are all learning online, and those who are all here today in person, you can join the WhatsApp community for learning this Mahanyasam. So you have to join that. Then after 2 or 3 classes, in the WhatsApp community, we will also post Zoom links, where those who are learning, then you can chant, and then I can see how you are chanting, and then I can correct, because it will become more like a one-on-one. So that, because this YouTube, because we have a large group of students learning, more than like 1,000 or 2,000 at the same time, that is why this class is delivered through YouTube. But you will also have WhatsApp community to have Zoom classes where you can chant, and then I will be able to correct. So I will, and the method of teaching is you learn in this class using this, and you have to normally, I suggest that you have to play it 5 times or at least 10 times before the next class. If you do that, most likely you will get it by heart. And the book is to be used only to see, say, the first word of a sloka. That is why book should be used. But when you practice more without books, you should be able to see. So all those who have learned in a Veda Pathashala, they learn for like 10 years. Have you seen when they don't have any book, but the amount of knowledge chanting they do, it can go for like 10 days chanting continuously, but that is the amount of learning which is fully in their own mind. So the more you are able to remember, you can easily do the chanting. The remembering is more important, and the only hindrance for us not to remember is again our own eyes. If you close your eyes, you can remember. When you open your eyes, we are distracted. So the remembering comes more from hearing. So when you hear, it goes into you, and then you are able to chant without book. So try to do that. But
also, every class will be uploaded on your BPA app. It will be connect. So you can download the Bhaskar Prakash Ashram app, and that will help you to learn the classes. You will be correct on that.
so the practice for this, so you first learn from the YouTube. Then for practice purposes, download Bhaskara Prakasha Ashram app. So you go to, say, Play Store if you have an Android phone, or you go to App Store for iPhone. You search for Bhaskara Prakasha Ashram. Then you will get a symbol Shrihi in the red color. Then you know that is our official app. So you should know that Shrihi is our app. Download the app. In that app, every class will be posted, and also the text and all will be easily available in the app. So it is much easier to practice using the app. So 3 steps for learning. One, this class. Then through the app, you practice for 5 or 10 times using the app. Then the third is you attend the Zoom class, because you have already learned what, and then you are going to chant. So in the Zoom class, I will not be teaching, but you will be actually reciting these mantras, and then I will be, if there is any correction required, then I will correct. But most likely, if you are learning correctly from the app, no correction will be required. But still, for you to have so this is the 3-step process for learning. So you understood, right? So now, as we will start. So when we start this Mahanyasam, it will be exactly chanted based on what is in our book. So in this book, we have explained what is this type of Mahanyasa. This is the type which is being used by our Guru Parampara. So there are many rishis who have given Mahanyasa. So there is not one, you cannot say there is a one common uniform Mahanyasa. That is first you have to understand. So if somebody is chanting differently and chanting more or less, it could be many different variations. And so we have to stick to one variation. So we have what we did is using the Bodhayana Sutra. Sutra means the Bodhayana, when he was teaching his disciples as a class, he was giving instructions, and also he was making sure that a method was given to his disciples how to chant Mahanyasam. So then that is why this becomes Bodhayana Ukta, means the Mahanyasa which is as told by Bodhayana Rishi. So that is first we have to understand. Bodhayana Rishi has said. But when Bodhayana Rishi says, then there can be so many different interpretations later on. So because of interpretations, there could be changes also. But we have tried to keep it directly to what Bodhayana has says. Many places, Bodhayana Rishi is very clear what should be done. Where he says, if it is Shiva Sankalpam, he says these are all the Shiva Sankalpa, like the 6. So when Bodhayana Rishi says, we just use those. But today there are, if you see, some books may have 100 Shiva Sankalpa or 200 Shiva Sankalpa, because they are all like shloka, you can keep on adding. So we just limited to what the Bodhayana Rishi has prescribed to his students. So that is why this Mahanyasa is called Bodhayana Mahanyasa. And as I said, even within Bodhayana Mahanyasa, there can be changes because the interpretation can vary. So first he says, Athataha Panchanga Rudranam Nyasa Purvakam Japa Homarchana Abhisheka Vidhim Vyaakhyasyamaha. So this is again what Bodhayana says to his disciples. He is saying that now I am going to teach you this Panchanga Rudra, this Rudra with the Panchanga, 5 different anga or parts, 5 parts. I am going to teach that, and I am going to say this is where this Nyasa should be done before any Japa, Homa, Archana, Abhisheka. He just gives this. So this is a Nyasa. So what are the different types of worship for us? We do Japa is one type of worship where you are only chanting. Then Abhisheka is one worship where you take some water or other dravya and then to a Shivalinga you do Abhishekam. So that is one method. So Japa, Abhisheka. Then you also have Archana where you take flower like Shivaya Namaha, Maheshwaraya Namaha, Sambhave Namaha. You do take a flower and then do Archana. So that is Archana. Then the 4th one is Homa, where you light a fire and then you offer Ahuti. So those 4 are the primary methods of worship of Shiva. And for that, he says that this Nyasa is a mandatory thing. And that we have, and you might be thinking, because this Mahanyasa is so big, normally we use when we do Maharudram or Athirudram on a daily basis. We can have, I will also give a shorter version like what is called a Lagunyasa. So Maha means big, Laghu means small. So Lagunyasa. And then there are still shorter versions of a Nyasa, because if you have only 30 minutes and you want to do Rudra Puja, Japa, and the Chamakam, Purusha Shuktam alone can take 30 minutes. So you may not have, so you have only 30 minutes, then there is again very, very simple Nyasa, as this Namaka Prashtasya, Agni Kandarshi, Mahavirat Chandha, Shambhur Devata, Rishyadi, Chamaka Prashtasya, Parameshti Rishiki, Virat Chanda, Ishvaro Devata. So it is only 20 seconds Nyasam, but still it is a Nyasam because it is a Rishyadi Nyasa. So that is the minimum most Nyasa. So if you have 30 minutes, do that only. Because if you have, see how time should be used. What is more important is the main object of worship is the Rudram. Right? You have to understand. The Rudram you cannot cut short. When you say Namaste Rudra Manyavetu, Jambhe Dadhami, that is what Rudra means. So you have to start with Namaste. Namaste Rudra, that is the first line of Rudram. Then Jambhe Dadhami, that is the last line. So until you cannot cut short that particular portion, even if so 30 minutes only you have, so because you cannot cut short that, you only do the Rishyadi Nyasa, which I just explained. So this will be given in detail. But the purpose of Nyasam, so when you are going to do 11 times Rudram, then you are going to do the Rudra Puja for 3.5 hours, then we can afford to spend half an hour for Nyasa. So you have to, so you cannot spend half an hour for Nyasa and half a minute for prayer. So the prayer, this is a preliminary thing, right? Preliminary part for to do a puja. So that is you have to understand why Nyasam is required, and we are going to have Atirudra in Kalaburgi, Gulbarga. Then next, that is end of November this year. Then we are having in Sri Shailam, the Rudra, where we will again be doing this Nyasa. Then next year, Chicago, Atirudram, we are performing. So for all of that, at least by next year's Atirudram, you all should be familiar and be able to chant this Maharudram. So that should be your Sankalpa, should be your goal. Because when we want to attain something, a Sankalpa is having in your mind some goal. Only when we have something in our mind as a goal, you will achieve it. When you do not have a goal, you will, because you don't have a end point or the destination where you have to reach, you will be just going around. So if you say if your destination from here is Sri Shailam, then you know that is your destination. So you will take appropriate steps to go to that place, right? But if your destination you don't know, you just wander around because you don't know. So that is why you have to Sankalpa is to learn this consistently. When you learn consistently, continuously, it is much better than to. So if you say you want to spend half an hour, 1 hour every day consistently, that will give more fruits than 6 hours one day and then for 2 months you don't touch this. Then again you work for 6 hours, but you would have totally forgotten everything. So consistently, every day, you earmark a time, and because of that discipline becomes very important. When you have a discipline, you can easily learn much faster. Not just this Rudram, even in your school or anywhere you do, if you are a disciplined learner, it is much better. So Athataha Panchanga Rudranam Nyasa Purvakam Japa Homarchana Abhisheka Vidhim Vyakhya Syamaha. Although this is a instruction to the students, normally in our book I will explain how you have to read. Anything which is in brackets or instructions, you don't have to chant. So they are only instructions, you do not have to chant. But this one, Athada Panchanga Rudranam, although it is an instruction, traditionally it is chanted. So that is why we are going to chant. You understand? Traditionally, everybody starts Mahanyasam with Athataha Panchanga Rudranam Nyasa Purvakam. Before with the Nyasa, Japa Homa Archana Abhisheka Vidhim Vyakhya Syamaha. Because why Vyakhya Syamaha is given is, he says Vyakhyanam is, I am going to explain. So Bodhayana is telling the students, now I am going to explain this procedure. So that is what he is saying. Although it is an instruction, as I said, we will chant it. That is why it is not in brackets. So we are going to say, and we are not changing, because some will say that why do we say Vyakhya Syamaha? Because this is now we are going to chant, so it should not be Vyakhya Syamaha. Something like I am going to do a puja or something where it is not relevant when you are actually doing. But we will stick to what Bodhayana says. So assume that you are sitting and learning, and Bodhayana is in front of you and teaching. So think like that, then it will become easier to get this Vyakhya Syamaha. Then he says in the bracket, Adita eva tirthe snatva. So again, some of the things which we think today that is not that important, Bodhayana has given important and given explanation. Some which are very confusing, Bodhayana has given very less explanation. So other future rishis are able to interpret the same thing in different ways. That is why, so we cannot now question. This is what the sutra we already have. So we are trying to use Bodhayana Sutra. So this is again, he says that you have to take bath in like water.
Early morning.
Yeah, early you have to get up morning, then take bath. Then again, today it is not being done because, but olden days it was used to do that. When you take bath and you remove your old clothes, you have to immediately put the old clothes in the water because they had the muddy. So if you cannot again go and touch that old clothes, so they put it in water, and even when it is wet, so they will first take. If they go to a river to take bath, the wet with the wet clothes, and then they remove, and then only then they will put a new clean clothes is what they will wear. So these are all and he says it is to be clean. The clothes should be washed and all that. So these are all very simple, which we all know. These are all hygiene things. This is not just a discipline thing. And then Ishanasya Pratikritim Kritva. So Ishana, thinking he is in the Ishana, in the Ishana direction or the northeast, you Pratikritimi, you face him, and also Atmani Devataha Sthapayet, in your own self. Devataha means here who is the Devata? Samba Parameshwara. Place him there. So you, wherever Samba Parameshwara, somehow pull that Samba Parameshwara and keep it in your heart. So he might be there. So then you should not ask where is Samba Parameshwara. So then you know that he is very close to you. When you close your eyes, only you can see, because eyes only see outside. When you close your eyes, you are able to see inside. So then you can see Samba Parameshwara in you. So first we say, so you don't have to say this because this is instruction, this is in bracket. Then Om, we start with the Ganapati Prarthana. So I will say once and you will repeat. Ganana Antva Ganapati Gum Havamahe
Ganapati Gum Havamahe, Ganapati Gum Havamahe,
Kaving Kavinam Upamasravastamam. So I will split it. Kaving Kavinam
Kaving Kavinam, Kaving Kavinam,
Upamasravastamam.
Upamashravastamam, Upamashravastamam.
So Kavinam Upamasravastamam will say together. Kavinam U, Im and U become Mu. Kaving Kavinam Upamasravastamam.
Kaving Kavinam, Upamashravastamam, Kaving Kavinam, Upamashravastamam.
Yeshtarajam
Jeshtarajam, Jeshtarajam,
Brahmanam.
Brahmanam, Brahmanam.
So there are certain sounds which you cannot get from a book. In the book you cannot say Brahma, Brahmanam. So it is not Brahmanam or Brahmana. So Im and Ha together becomes Brahma. So Brahmanam, Brahmanam, Brahmanam. Yeshtarajam Brahmanam.
Jeshtarajam, Brahmanam, Jeshtarajam, Brahmanam,
Brahmanaspata
Brahmanasvata, Brahmanasvata,
Anashrinvan
Anashrinvan, Anashrinvan,
Utibhisida.
Utibhisida, Utibhisida.
So we are going to join. So Shrinvan and Utibihi will become Shrinvan Nutibihi. So anyway, we will only say together. Shrinvan Nutibihi. Anashrinvan Nutibhis.
Anashrinvan Nutibhis, Anashrinvan Nutibhis.
So I am saying actually how you will be saying future, because it is Anashrinvan Utibihi Sida. So the pada, it becomes more confusing for you to later on combine. So I am not going to give every pada. It is not required, because if I give pada for chanting purposes, you get more confused. So should I say anaha, anaha, shrinvan? So anaha and shrinvan becomes anashrinvan. Then shrinvan and uti bigi becomes shrinvan nuti bigi. And nuti bigi and sida becomes nuti bis sida. So I will say how you are going to say later on, even though I am going to split it. So it may not be technically correct, but it is for learning purposes, it is easier. Anashranvannotivisida.
Anashranvannotivisida. Anashranvannotivisida.
Sadhanam.
Sadhanam. Sadhanam.
Jyeshtarajam brahmanam brahmanaspata.
Jyeshtarajam brahmanam brahmanaspata. Jyeshtarajam brahmanam brahmanaspata.
Anashranvannotivisida.
Anashranvannotivisida. Anashranvannotivisida.
Sadhanam.
Sadhanam. Sadhanam.
Shri Mahaganapataye Namaha.
Shri Mahaganapataye Namaha. Shri Mahaganapataye Namaha.
So this is the Ganapati Prarthana. Then we start the Mahanyasam. So the as I said, the Panchanga Rudra, again it can be interpreted to say there are 5 sections we are given. So Prathama Nyasaha, Dvitiya Nasa, Tritiya, Chaturtha, Panchama. So that because of that 5 sections, we can say it is Panchanga Nasa. Then at the end, we have Hridayaya Namaha, Shirase Swaha, Shikhaye Vashat, Kavachaya Hum. Then directly we go to Astraya Pati without Netram. So because of Netra Varjyam, we can say it is having Panchanga. So that is why, that is one interpretation, that this is called Panchanga. Then also we have at the end Panchanga Japa. For Brahma, Vishnu, Rudra, we have for 5 deities, we have Panchanga Japa. So that can also mean why it is Panchanga. But so we have 3 different types of Anga, Panchanga here, which is given, and all of them are in congruence. So there is no difference. So we have 5 sections. So Prathama Nyasaka, Dvitiya Nyasaka. So we'll start with the Prathama Nyasaha. Yate Rudra.
Yate Rudra. Yate Rudra.
Shiva Tano.
Shiva Tano. Shiva Tano.
Raghora Papakashini.
Raghora Papakashini. Raghora Papakashini.
Yate Rudra.
Yate Rudra. Yate Rudra.
Shiva Tanu.
Shiva Tanu. Shiva Tanu.
Again, as I'm repeating, I'm not splitting based on the words. So that is why Tanuhu Aghorapa becomes Tanuhu Raghorapa. Yate Rudra Shiva Tanu.
Yate Rudra Shiva Tanu. Yate Rudra Shiva Tanu.
Raghorapa Pakashini.
Raghora Papakashini. Raghora Papakashini.
Yate Rudra Shiva Tanu Raghora Papakashini.
Yate Rudra Shiva Tanu Raghora Papakashini. Yate Rudra Shiva Tanu Raghora Papakashini.
So I will split it into half. Yate Rudra Shiva Tanu.
Yate Rudra Shiva Tanu. Yate Rudra Shiva Tanu.
You have two small boys, so you both say no. Yate Rudra Shiva. Yate slow. Yate Rudra Shiva Tanu. Raghora Papakashini. Good. So you are able to get. So I wanted to see the youngest whether they are able to chant. Very good. Yate Rudra Shiva Tanu.
Yate Rudra Shiva Tanu. Yate Rudra Shiva Tanu.
Raghora Papakashini.
Raghora Papakashini. Raghora Papakashini.
Yate Rudra Shiva Tanu. Raghora Papakashini.
Yate Rudra Shiva Tanu. Raghora Papakashini. Yate Rudra Shiva Tanu. Raghora Papakashini.
Tayanastanuva.
Tayanastanuva. Tayanastanuva.
Shantamaya.
Shantamaya. Shantamaya.
Girishanta.
Girishanta. Girishanta.
Pichakashihi.
Vichakashihi. Vichakashihi.
So you should not say Vichakashihi. So this is not Visargam. When it is Visargam, we say Vichakashihi as a Visarjanima or just expelling. Here it is Ha. So Vichakashihi. 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 Tayanastanuva.
Tayanastanuva. Tayanastanuva.
Shantamaya.
Shantamaya. Shantamaya.
Girishanta.
Girishanta. Girishanta.
Vichakashihi.
Vichakashihi. Vichakashihi.
Tayanastanuva Shantamaya Girishanta Vichakashihi.
Tayanastanuva Shantamaya Girishanta Vichakashihi. Tayanastanuva Shantamaya Girishanta Vichakashihi.
Shikhayai Namaha.
Shivayai Namaha. Shivayai Namaha.
So as it is a Nyasam, we will now find parts of our body. So at the end, we say Shikhayai Namaha. Then we will say Shikhayai Namaha, and you also have to touch that particular part of our body. So Shikha is where the hair, the long hair goes. This place is called Shikha. So you touch that place and say Shikhayai Namaha. You touch that because Nyasam is placing. So here, this Prathama Nyasa, again, most of the mantras for this Mahanyasa will be from Sri Rudram only. And using again this, why we are touching the Shikha with this mantra. If you ask me that question, why can I not use any other mantra and then touch my tough, right? You can do, but Bodhayana says Shikha Yate Rudra iti Shikayam. So the sutra means in formula he will not give the entire mantra because all his students already they have learnt Veda. He say using Yate Rudra, you touch Yate Rudra iti Shikha. Asmin Magatyarna iti Shirasi. That is what the sutra will say. So the first point to touch is your Shikha. Then the second, Asmin Magatyarna.
Asmin Magatyarna. अस्मिन् महत्यर्न
वेन्तरिक्षे
वेदेन्तरिक्षे वेदेन्तरिक्षे
अस्मिन् महत्यर्न
अस्मिन् महत्यर्न अस्मिन् महत्यर्न
वेन्तरिक्षे
वेदेन्तरिक्षे वेदेन्तरिक्षे
भवा अधि
भवादि भवादि
अस्मिन् महत्यर्न वेन्तरिक्षे
अस्मिन् महत्यर्न वेदेन्तरिक्षे अस्मिन् महत्यर्न वेदेन्तरिक्षे.
So the common mistake here is they tend to bring the kshay down or middle. Kshay should be still up because the complexity is at Maghatyarna, only na comes, then ve it is already double, then re is again up. So there is no down here. Ventarikshe. Ventarikshe.
वेदेन्तरिक्षे
Bhava adhi.
भवादि भवादि
अस्मिन् महत्यर्न वेन्तरिक्षे भवा अधि
अस्मिन् महत्यर्न वेदेन्तरिक्षे भवादि अस्मिन् महत्यर्न वेदेन्तरिक्षे भवादि.
So when there are certain techniques or certain methods given to chant any Veda, and one of them is when a long vowel is followed by another vowel, we give a pause or a breath, because whenever you have to chant any vowel, you have to take a new breath. When you say ah, you have to chant with ah, that when you say ah, so you are taking out a new breath with that. For consonants this is not required, but for vowels we have to, particularly when it is bhava adhi. Many places in the Veda they have given this these rules, so that because this is Shruti, later on there is no confusion about what is the actual letter. There should be no confusion, because when you have there are places where we say drape andhasaspade daridranir logita yesham purushanam yesham pashunam mabher maro mo yesham. So are you saying a, or are you saying, which is a is the first letter vowel, or are you saying ye or ye? Ye. So mo yesha means you should not give that gap. Then it becomes it is ye. But if you are going to say start with vowel mo yesham, you have to say that you have to actually give that, because you cannot also shorten, because the matra will go down if you shorten. The matra cannot come down, so you have to say mo. Again, it is a long vowel. So in Sanskrit you have a, e, u, r, l, e, I, o, au. They are all long vowels. So you have to understand it is a, I, o, au do not have short vowels in Sanskritam. In other Tamil, other languages, you may have short vowels for that, but in Sanskritam only long vowels. So o, a, same way, bhava, adhi. That is why, because it starts with a, what can happen is if you do not give that, then the word itself can change. Because if you do not give that, so we have to deva in the chamakam, deva indraschame, because e, again suddenly there is a word beginning with e, so you say deva indra, so you give that pause after that, but do not give too much pause. You do not, I'm saying, because many, when for the purpose of learning I am telling this, but you should not say bhava adhi. That is not correct. You have to give the pause, but not the right pass only. You cannot too much extend it. It is not required. But if you do not extend, again it is wrong. So you have to give this. Yeah. Asmin Magatyarnave Entarikshe.
Asmin Mahatmyam Entarikshe. Asmin Mahatmyam Entarikshe.
Bhava Adhi.
Bhava Adi. Bhava Adi.
Teshagum Sagasrayo Jane.
Deshabhum Sahasrayojane. Deshabhum Sahasrayojane.
So then again Yojane and Avadhanvani. So Yojane and Avadhanvani. So again when you say after Yojane, then next we say Vadha. We do the A is A in the Sandhi, it will be gone. You will not say A. But the way you have to say is you should not say Tejagum Sagasrayo Jane Vadhanvani, then is wrong. You cannot give a breath after that way. Now only for splitting I am saying Tejagum Sagasrayo Jane Vadhanvani Tanmasi. That you should not say like that. Teshagum Sagasra. Teshagum Sagasra.
Deshabhum Sahasra.
Yojane Vadhanvani.
Yojane Vadhanvani. Yojane Vadhanvani.
Tanmasi.
Tanmasi. Tanmasi.
So this particular line you have to learn very well, because this particular line is going to be repeated many times in this Mahanyasam, many times. So once you learn once, it becomes easier, because the same thing is going to be repeated. Tesham, here it is Tesham Sagasrayojane. So you are praying to the Shiva. You are seeing now, suddenly you are seeing that you are envisioning, right? You are envisioning that there can be different problems could happen. You don't know, but you are just envisioning. Oh, I can have a problem in my path, or I am walking. There can be some. I am drinking something. There may be virus or something if I drink this. The food may not be good. It may not be good for my body. So you are thinking about different problems. So immediately you are saying that Tesham Sagasrayod. So wherever the different problems are going to come to you, the problems are given in a it's like a dramatic, a figurative thing, where the person is having like a bow and arrow and trying to shoot you down with all the problems he's giving. So this problem I'm going to place it on you. So you are praying to Rudra, is whoever is there, make him Sagasra Yojana means distance. Sagasra Yojana means long, so much distance that even if he is going to hit me, if it is 1,000 miles, somebody is going to put an arrow, it is not going to hit you. So place all the problems with so much distance, but then you still have a fear. But still, if he is having such powerful weapon that it can travel 5,000 miles, or now you have different things which can travel too long, he says, Avadhanvani means make it, say if it is like somebody is shooting with a gun, make it without the bullet. If it is having bow and arrow, Avadhanvani means that is a string in that bow, you break that string so that even if he aims at you, it will not come. So this is going to be repeated many times. So you will so next time when we are learning, you will all say it together. You will not be saying this. Teshagum Sagasrayo Jane.
Deshabhum Sahasrayojane. Deshabhum Sahasrayojane.
Teshagum Sagasra.
Deshabhum Sahasra. Deshabhum Sahasra.
Yojane Vadhanvani.
Yojane Vadhanvani. Yojane Vadhanvani.
Tanmasi.
Tanmasi. Tanmasi.
Teshagum Sagasrayo Jane Vadhanvani Tanmasi.
Eshagum Sahasrayo Jane Vadhanvani Tanmasi. Eshagum Sahasrayo Jane Vadhanvani Tanmasi. Eshagum Sahasrayo Jane Vadhanvani Tanmasi.
Gum
Sahasrayodhane Vadhanvani Tanmasi. Eshagum Sahasrayodhane Vadhanvani Tanmasi.
Teshagum, then Sagasra no Swaram. Sagasrayo until yo no Swaram. Teshagum Sagasrayo, then Jane Vadhanvani. Jane, Ja is the only word down. Jane, then Ba is also. So Ja is down, Ba is down. Jane Vadhanvani, Ba is up. Vadhanvani Tanmasi. So you should not bring Tanmasi or anything down. Vadhanvani Tanmasi. Teshagum Sagasrayo Jane Vadhanvani Tanmasi. Eshagum Sahasrayo Jane Vadhanvani Tanmasi. Then you have to say Shirase Namaha.
Shirase Namaha. Shirase Namaha.
Touch your head. This place is Shiras. Then Sahasrani Sahasra.
Sahasrani Sahasra. Sahasrani Sahasra.
Shoye.
Shoye. Shoye.
So here I am not giving the breath. So it is ya. It is not show. A means that is becomes. It is not here. It is so ye. Y. So it is not a vowel. So it is a semi vowel. So this rule is for only for vowels. A, I. You have to all these 7 dirgha or 9. A, E, U, L, R, L, A, I, O, Au. All those we have to give this long and then give a small pause. If it is followed only when it is followed by another vowel. Only when it, that is the rule, is only when it is followed by a long vowel is followed by another vowel. Sahasrani Sahasrashoye.
Sahasrani Sahasrashoye. Sahasrani Sahasrashoye.
Rudra Adhi.
Rudra Adhi. Rudra Adhi.
Bhumyam.
Bhumyam. Bhumyam.
Sahasrani Sahasrashoye.
Sahasrani Sahasrashoye. Sahasrani Sahasrashoye.
Sahasrashoye.
Sahasrashoye. Sahasrashoye.
Rudra.
Rudra. Rudra.
Adhi Bhumyam.
Adhi Bhumyam. Adhi Bhumyam.
Sahasrani Sahasrashoye. Rudra Adhi Bhumyam.
Sahasrani Sahasrashoye. Rudra Adhi Bhumyam. Sahasrani Sahasrashoye. Rudra Adhi Bhumyam.
Teshagum Sagasrayo Jane Vadhanvani Tanmasi.
Eshagum Sahasrayo Jane Vadhanvani Tanmasi. Eshagum Sahasrayo Jane Vadhanvani Tanmasi.
Then Lalataya Namaha.
Lalataya Namaha. Lalataya Namaha.
Touch your forehead. for this. So as I said, you see Teshagam Sahasrayojana was repeated. So so when we learn, it becomes faster when we already know. So today we have started the Mahanyasam class, and we have done the Ganapati Prarthana, and then the first three verses of this Mahanyasa. So it is now easy homework for you, because when I give easy homework, you will not miss that. If it is too big, you say homework is too big, so I don't want to do homework. But now it is very simple, only three. So try to learn before next class. You try to learn these three correctly. Go to the YouTube. Learn. You can play it any number of times. It is available. This recording is available, and also download the app, Srihi app, Bhaskar Prakasha Ashram app from the Play Store or App Store, and then you can practice it. And then also wait for the announcement for the Sri Mahanyasam and Rudram WhatsApp community, where you should join so that you get the text and other updates regarding the classes. So we will now, all of us. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So just listen. I will just do once. Om Athada Pancha. Om Athada Panchanga Rudradam Nyasapurvakam Japa Homarchana Bhisheka Vidhim Vyakhyasya Om Gananantva Ganapatigum Havamahe Kavin Kavinamupamashravastamam Jetharajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspada Adashranvanutibhisvida Sadanam Om Shri Mahaganapataye Namaha. Ya Om Yate Rudra Shiva Tanora Ghora Papakashini Tayanas Tanuva Shantamaya Girishanta Bhijakashihi Shikayai Namaha. Asmin Mahatyarnave Entarikshe Bhava Adhi Teshagum Sagasrayo Jane Vadhanvani Tanmasi Shirase Namaha. Sagasrani Sagasrasho Ye Rudra Adhibhumyam Teshagum Sagasrayo Jane Vadhanvani Tanmasi Lalata Namaha. So all of you together will do one more time from the beginning. Om Athada Panchanga Rudranam Japa Homarchana Bhisheka Vidhim Vyakhyasya Om Gananantva Ganapatigum Havamahe Kavin Kavinamupamashravastamam Jeshtarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspata Adashranvanutibhisvida Sadanam. Om Shri Mahaganapataye Namaha. Yate Rudra Shiva Tanora Ghora Papakashini Yanas Tanuva Shantamaya Girishanta Bhijakashihi Shikayai Namaha. Asmin Mahatyarnave Tarikshe Bhava Adhi Teshagum Sagasrayo Jane Vadhanvani Tanmasi Shirase Namaha. Sagasrani Sagasrasho Ye Rudra Adhibhumyam Teshagum Sagasrayo Jane Vadhanvani Tanmasi Lalata Namaha. Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. So this concludes the first class. So we'll see in the next class.